Hello, welcome to the Celtic Cast on Floss Tube number 3. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada. Today is February 16th, 2021, and today is a snow day. Now I wouldn't actually say it's a snow day per se, it's more of a freezing rain day. We're supposed to get a ton of freezing rain this afternoon into this evening, and we've already got some this morning. So it makes for really treacherous conditions here in the East Coast. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get this floss tube out early, just in case we lose power. When we do have freezing rain, it kind of ladens the power lines and the trees, and we do end up losing power most of the time. So we'll see what happens. So let's get started. Today I have some FFOs to show you, some FOs, some whips, and a little bit of haul, tiny bit. So let's get started. I will start with my new start, my FFO, and my FO, and it's all one thing. Let me show you. So before I show you, my daughter got a t-shirt for Christmas that has a raccoon on it, and it says Trash Panda. And she loved that t-shirt so much, and ever since then it has kind of become her thing that she's the Trash Panda. So I went looking and I found some really cute raccoon cross stitches, and I thought she might like one. So she picked out the one that she liked, and this is a design that I got on Etsy, and it's by La Selva Designs. It's actually 3 designs, it's 3 raccoon patterns. And you can choose whichever one you want or do all 3 in a row, but she chose one that she wanted, so I did that. And then I asked her if she wanted me to add some lettering around it to say Trash Panda. So this is what we came up with, and I'll try not to get the ring light or the window. Oh my gosh, the lighting. So show it up really close. So there's the raccoon, and when we found lettering that we liked on Pinterest, and she wanted it done in green for some reason, and I knew that it wasn't kind of really going to go with it, so she said black. So I tried it with black, and the lettering was too stark compared to the raccoon, so I ripped the black out. And I tried the darkest color of gray that's in the raccoon, and that one worked much better. So that's what I used for the lettering. The rest of the cross stitch is exactly the called for colors, except for this lighter color that comes around his head. I didn't have that exact number of DMC, so I went down 1 number. When I put in Google an equivalent to whatever number of DMC it was, it showed me the one before, and that one worked perfectly. So there is her Trash Panda. Now, she didn't want, I asked her how she wanted me to finish it. She said she might want to hang it up or put it on her door. So what I did was I got this shadow box, and this shadow box is actually from Salvation Army. We like to go there to get books for my daughter. She reads books like crazy, and so we go there because it's a cheap alternative, because she likes to reread the series several times. So if she goes to the library and takes it out, she only has it for a certain number of weeks before she has to return it, and she likes to read through a series several times. So that's where we purchase our books for her, and they're getting more expensive now because she's kind of moving into the young adult type of books. But before, it was like $1.49, I think, for a book, and then you get the 5th one free. So it was a pretty cheap alternative for us. So while we were there, I found this shadow box, and it used to be, I'll put a picture up here. It used to be, have a background of Paris. It's always a good time to go to Paris or something. It looked like it was for a little girl's room. It was pink and gold and sparkly. So what I did was, that was just basically a poster that was stuck onto the board at the very back. So I took the board off, and I had some sticky board, and I covered the sticky board with this fabric, which I had in my stash. This is the one she picked out that she liked. And then I had some more sticky board and I covered it with my quilt batting first. Then I put Trash Panda on. And then I just covered the back with a piece of paper because this is sticky board, you can kind of see here, that's on the back. So I covered that with paper. It's a little message for her on the sticky board underneath. And I put the hanger back on. And this was, I think, $4.99. So it was a very cheap alternative to buying something brand new. And I think it was a mainstay shadow box, so that would be Walmart, I believe. So I'm guessing it didn't cost $4.99 originally. So that's the Trash Panda. She's very happy with it. She's already picked out where she's gonna hang it up. But I tried to add rickrack underneath or kind of ribbon on the edges to tie it all in, but she didn't want any of that. It had to be very plain. I wonder where she gets that from. So yeah, very happy with it, and it's exactly what she wanted. Sorry for the ring light. So that's the Trash Panda finish. The next FFO that I have to show you is kind of old, very old. So I had showed you on my first floss tube the Boyd's Bear, the firefighter that I had done a long time ago, and it was kind of sitting in a box. Well, I went through that box and I found another Boyd Bear that I did, and this one is the, I think it's called Shamrock, the Shamrock Boyd's Bear, and I did this, I think I did this one before I did the firefighter one, if I remember correctly. And he's been sitting in a box, been finished, but I haven't done anything with him. And this is probably probably between 2000 2004 is when I would have made him. So when I pulled it out, I asked my mom, I said, hey mom, do you want this? Because we're from Ireland, so the shamrock kind of has meaning to us. And she was like, yes, I would love it. So I decided that I would finish it off for her. So this one, instead of doing sticky board, what I've done is I've got foam board, and I used little sequin pins, and I'll show you, I'll take one out just to show you what it's like. They're very tiny little pins, but they hold in cross stitch fabric very well, and they go right into the foam board. So you just wrap it around and stick the pins in, and then you kind of pull as you go to tighten it. Tighten the bottom and then do the sides. Elizabeth can stitch. She has a floss tube and she has a video that shows you how to do this really well. Now I actually used to sew mine. What was that called? There's a term for it. Is it threading? Anyway, it didn't involve these pins, it just involved kind of sewing up the back to tighten it up. That's what I used to do, but then when I saw that I could do the pin version easily without sending it to Michael's, I thought, oh, that's a great idea, I think I'd try that. So yeah, and on the back it's just kind of double-sided sticky tape to hold down the sides, and then you just use one side of the sticky tape to cover your edges. So I do plan to get a frame for this. I made it 8x8 so that I can get an 8x8 frame, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get one at the dollar store or somewhere similar that's not going to cost a lot of money. But that is my long time finish, but just a newly FFO. So if you have any questions on the finishing of any of these, absolutely leave a comment below and I can answer those for you. So those are my two FFOs, and I'm sure you're wondering what I've been working on. So let's go to whips. So basically I have been working, other than Trash Panda, that one has taken up quite a bit of my time. Not to stitch it, but to do all the finishing and everything. But other than that, I have been working on Foggy Forest, and this is another Etsy PDF by DM Cross Stitch, sorry. and I will put a picture of it here of what it's gonna look like when it's finished. So I've been working on this one a lot. It's on 28 count Lugana, and I'm using all of the called for DMC. So this is where I've got so far. And as you can see, I'm trying to make the outline of the circles so that I can then start to fill in. I think last time that I showed you, I only had these 2 trees done. And since then I filled in all of this and kind of done the circle around. So it's coming along. I'm really enjoying it. I have watched FlossTube videos where they say that they outline and then go back and fill it in. That's not really how my brain works when I do cross stitch, but I thought I'd give it a go with this, and I must say I'm really enjoying it. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing the trees, and then all of this inside will be this color here. So I don't even have to look at a page or anything. I can just stitch all that I see that's white, which is awesome. So when I get up to here, the top is actually fully white, and so once I do the outline, I'll just be able to go back and forth and not have to worry about it. I was stitching this a lot while I was listening to an audiobook. I do review audiobooks on NetGalley, and the audiobook that I was listening to was The Rose Code by Quinn. If you like historical fiction, you will love this one. The Rose Code is about Bletchley Circle, which was an estate that housed all the code breakers during World War II. Great story. Quinn has a really amazing way of combining 3 or 2 different people's lives and seeing where they meet and how it all ties together. I would definitely recommend checking that one out. I did listen to it on audiobook, which was amazing for stitching, and I think I might be listening to more audiobooks now that I realize that I can just stitch away and not have to look at a page. The audiobook, I will say, is 15, almost 16 hours long, but it was worth it for sure. And I just plugged away at it every time I had my stitching or my knitting. I would just listen to it some more. But yeah, I'm really interested in getting into more audiobooks, and hopefully I can share them here with you and give you a little review. So the one that I was telling you about is The Rose Code by Quinn. Definitely check that one out. I would give it 5 stars for sure. So I'm looking forward to getting this one finished. So this has been primarily what I've been working on, and I kind of want to keep it that way so that I can get it finished. I don't like to have too many whips on the go because I do have knitting and crochet as well, so I just feel a little discombobulated when I have too many things on the go. So I'm going to try and finish this one, and then I can start something else new that's big. So the other whip, I told you last podcast that I like to have small things to work on during work, something I can just throw in my bag and I can do maybe a few stitches on because it's not very big. So I picked up this one and I kitted it up this week. Now I don't have all the colors yet, but I'm hoping to get them this week. Yesterday here in New Brunswick was Family Day, and all the stores are closed during Family Day. So I wasn't able to get in to get my colors, even though I was right beside Michael's. But hopefully this week. So I did get a start, and I will show you what I'm working on. Those of you in the UK that grew up in the 80s and 90s will probably recognize this character when I show it to you. Maybe even the 2000s, because I believe there was a reboot of a new version of this show. I don't know if this is going to come up very well on the screen. I'll try to show you, and if not, I will put a picture in. You guys see that guy? Now, for those of you in America, that is not Geronimo Stilton. When my daughter first saw this, she said, "Is that Geronimo Stilton?" And when I thought about it, Geronimo Stilton is a fox. Geronimo Stilton wears a green suit. And I'm wondering if they didn't take Geronimo Stilton's inspiration from this guy. This is Basil Brush. I grew up in Ireland, and he was a puppet on children's television. and his kind of catchphrase was he would always crack jokes, and after he would crack a joke, he would go ha ha ha, boom boom, and that was kind of his signature. So when I did go to show my kids who it was, the joys of YouTube, you can look up anything now. There was a reboot, and it was in the 2000s, and yeah, so they kind of got to watch a newer version of him, but I remember him as kind of being the older version when he was with all of the different musicians that would come on his show and everything. And he would make guest appearances on different things and charity events. But that is Basil Brush. So why am I cross-stitching Basil Brush? My brother and I, we each have a daughter, and our daughters are about 6 weeks apart in age. So they get along great when they see each other. And we kind of always talk about things that we grew up with that they would never have known about, because not even that it was just here, but in Ireland, they never saw any of those things before. So Basil Brush was one of those, and I thought when I saw it that I would stitch him up and make him into an ornament so that my brother could put him on the Christmas tree and explain to my niece who exactly Basil Brush was. So this pattern is from TV Stitcher, which is a magazine in the UK. This was the 2004 version of that magazine, and normally it has, I know in this particular version it had Fireman Sam and the Little Men and Little Men, yeah, the Little Men series, all kinds of different things. So let me show you how I just started this. I just wanted to get it on the go so that I'd have something to work on during the week. So this is his nose, and you can see from this picture that he's kind of tilted. So his nose, part of his face, and his ear, that's going to be part of his eye, but it does get bigger. So this is just a 32 count scrap that I had from my lovely scrap bag that I've been using up. And once I get all the rest of the colors, I'll really be able to get boogieing on him. But I thought that was a good something to work on during the week when I am at work. So that is my second whip that I've been working on. I have one more that I pulled out, and this one, let me just put this away. So this whip is the oldest whip that I have. This is the whip that I started when I got back into cross stitching again. And it's been several years now, probably 6 years maybe since I started it. I didn't get very far on it, but my daughter said that she'd still like me to finish it and that she was going to put it up in her room. So I'm going to show you what it is. This is my very first project bag holder, and it's the DMC. It's kind of like a zipped binder bag. I think I got this at Michael's very long time ago, but it's actually really neat inside. Let me show you. So inside, it has a zippered pouch for your project and your pattern. It has a binder because at that time, stitch bows were in, and you could have pages of your stitch bows. Now I still have some of those. I never use them. It stretches out your thread on the bow, but then if you have extras, you have nowhere to put it. So I just really prefer floss bags. So I just take my floss bag of colors and I just close it in there. It doesn't do anything. Then there's also, on the other side, there's a zippered pocket for things like pens or your, if you have your floss on a card. There's another little zippered pouch here that I use to keep my needles in. And then this one, which I always thought was for needles, but it's actually a piece of felt, and that's for your extra threads. Had I known that, I would have been using that a long time ago, but I always thought it was just to put your needle in when you're not using it. But I really think it's a great project keeper. So let me show you my project. This is, I still even have the fabric, DMC Irish linen, 28 count even weave. Lugana, and it's tea-dyed. And this is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Let's Go on an Adventure. Now I don't think I have a full picture of it available. I don't, but I will post one up here for you. So I started this a very long time ago, and I kind of tailored it to my daughter. So as you can see in the picture, it's a girl on a scooter, and she's basically traveling through all the different places that you can go to. So I tailored it to her. I asked her what color she wanted the scooter. I did it her hair color, and I did her whatever shirt color she wanted. So this is as far as I've got. Fold it over a bit. So I've got Let's Go on and I started Egypt down here, which is almost complete. And this is Paris, and this one is going to be London. So this string right here is for the double-decker bus. And then Big Ben's beside it as well, and London Bridge. So as you can see, I haven't gotten very far. It is a big piece. And I do have a lot left to work on it, but I thought if I could finish a little motif, like finish the bus in one go, finish that, I would finally get some work on it and I could get to finishing it. I'd really like to finish the lettering across the middle. That way it's gonna tell me how long across I have to go. I think it only goes to maybe here. But yeah, I'd really like to get this back out and get it finished, because I think it's really cute. Look at that camel. So if I put in a couple of threads, I'm not going to say a day because that just doesn't happen in my life. Sometimes I get to stitch, sometimes I don't. But I'm going to put some work into it and see how far I get. That is my oldest whip. Hopefully, I'd really like to finish that one this year. Sooner rather than later. So those are my whips. Now, let me show you my haul. So I only have a couple of things, but I just wanted to show you really quickly. I did show you the shadow box that I got for the trash panda, and I picked that up before I knew what I was going to use it for. We were just in there kind of looking at things, and I saw it and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get that now. The other one that I did get there is this little sign: a meal without wine is just breakfast. $3.99 from Value Village. I don't know if it's ever been used before. It's just a wooden kind of box, but this gray and the whitewashed white, I thought that I would just be able to cover up this part. Oh gosh, the light. I'm gonna get glare wherever I put it because it's wrapped in plastic. But I thought if the gray peeked through, that'd be fine, because that gray is what I use a lot to decorate in my house. And the sides are like a whitewash. But I just thought it was really cute that it could just stand by itself. And I'm sure I will find something, for $3.99 I will find something that works with this. The other thing that I did purchase lately, other than flosses, just regular floss, I purchased the Reflections of Canada pattern by Ink Circles. I'll put it up. I've been looking for a pattern that signifies Canada, and I couldn't really find anything that I liked. And then when I did see the Reflections of Canada, if you look really closely, it has hockey sticks, it has beavers, it has the Inukshuk, all of the kind of things that symbolize Canada. And I really wanted to do a Canada piece because in June, I think so, June of last year, I finally became a Canadian citizen. So I wanted to do something that signified that, and I will probably put the year 2020 on it to signify the year that I became Canadian. So I want to start it, but I need to finish a big project first. So that's my my plan is to finish probably Foggy Forest, and then I will get started on the ink circles. I have been looking at it online for inspiration. It is done in a bright red, and while I like that, I don't think it's gonna go really well with anything I have in my house. Do it in a red, but a deeper red, that would probably work in my house. Or a burgundy, or should I do it in a completely different color? I did see one that was done in a variegated floss, and it was really cool. If I find a picture, I'll put it up here for you to have a look at. But I'm not settled on one thing. I'm thinking maybe I want to try sulky thread. I know that Shiloh from Stitch MD, she uses sulky thread a lot for her ink circles patterns, and I really like it. So I'm wondering maybe if I should check that out and maybe find a color there that would work. But I'm not 100% sure yet. So that's my someday stitch whenever I get something else finished. That's gonna actually spur me on because I really want to start it. So I need to figure out my thread, and then I can order it, and then hopefully get something finished before the thread arrives. That's the plan. A couple of shout outs to podcasts that I've been watching, or floss tubes, sorry, that I've been watching. There are a lot of people post weekly. I could never post weekly because I do too many other crafts and I would never have anything done in a week. But there are people that post weekly. Like I said, Shiloh from Cross Stitch MD. She's in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I love her projects. She also is a knitter as well, and she does post her knitting projects on her floss tube, while I have a separate podcast for that. So if you are into cross stitch and knitting, you should check out Shiloh. I also watched Sean from Craftivating Creations. She's in the UK, and she does a lot of Rendale designs, which is kind of similar to my Jolly Robin that I showed you that I kitted up last time. That's a Rendale design and by Bothy Threads, and she does a lot of those. If you like animals, you should definitely check out her channel. I've also been watching Stitching by Shelby. She has a lot of cool things. She finished a Quaker piece that was beautiful that I love. So check her out. And who else? And Mary Ashcraft. She also posts weekly, and she's in the States, and she loves plaid just like me. And she has a lot of fun different things that she posts as well, so you could check her out. And of course then there's like Mama Loves You GB. I love watching her every week as well. So those are the weekly ones that I've been checking out. If you would like to recommend any floss tubes for me, definitely leave them in the comments below. I'm always up for watching floss tubes. I love seeing what everyone's working on. And I hope you like to see what I'm working on too. All right, let's get to I guess we did flashback. Oh gosh, this was my flashback. My flashback of my Boyd Bear. So this was my flashback. If you remember from last podcast, I did a flashback of this, which was the gift. And I had started it, got a lot of it done, and now I'm just not interested in finishing it. So I was using this as a giveaway. So if you were interested, I would send the piece that's not finished, as well as the pattern for you to finish it. So I had 3 people that were interested. And the random number generator picked number 2, and that was Joanne Hartnett. So Joanne, if you see this, I would love to send this your way, and hopefully you can finish it. I'd love to see it go to a good home that can give it some love that it needs. So thank you for entering that giveaway. And I have a new one for you today. This is a pattern that I have never stitched. I bought it a long time ago. And at the time, I wanted to do my living room in like a jungle theme. We had orange walls. I know. orange walls, and I had this big giant picture of a lion, like a real photograph picture of a lion running. And this was one of the cross stitches that I picked up that I thought I'd like to do that would go in that room. Now, since then, that was many years ago, I am a little less colorful in my wall choices. But I'm not interested in stitching it anymore. It's a beautiful pattern though. It's by Kustom Krafts Inc. and it's called Water Tiger. And it is a full coverage piece, and it is many pages long. How many pages is it? 9. It's 9 pages, not 9 full pages. But yeah, that is the pattern. Never used, hardly ever cracked open. I just liked the look of it and wanted to stitch it, but I don't think I do anymore. So I would love to give this away to one of you. If you are interested in this giveaway, please comment with the word tiger in the comments below, and I would love to send this out to someone, and I will choose randomly before the next floss tube. So again, add tiger if you would love to be considered for this full piece cross stitch. All right, so that is all that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked what you saw, I would love if you'd subscribe or hit the like button. And I would love to hear from any of you too. If you're a cross stitcher, what you're working on, any podcasts, any floss tubes that you'd like me to check out, send them below and I will definitely check those out. Until next time, thanks so much for joining me and have a safe and happy February. Bye.